Could Australia open with Jake Fraser-McGurk and Travis Head at the World Cup? How much is the IPL shifting the Aussies' plans? Michael Clarke joins us from India. Record totals in T20 cricket. Is it good for the game? And Glenn Maxwell joins us with a special announcement. Let's go around the wicket. Hello and welcome to Around the Wicket. I'm Neroli Meadows, Callum Ferguson alongside me and Michael Clarke joining us once more from India. And the news from overnight is that the Gujarat Titans took on the Delhi Capitals. Rishabh Pant, the skipper of Delhi, sent GT into bat, all out for 89. From an Aussie perspective, Jake Fraser-McGurk was impressive with 20 off 10. Also, no David Warner out with a finger injury, no Mitch Marsh. He's, of course, returned home to Australia with a hamstring issue, and Matthew Wade was dropped after playing just one game. Now that we've covered that news from overnight, Michael Clarke, thanks for your company. You're a little bit concerned as we look ahead to the World Cup of how the Aussies overall are faring.
Yeah, hey guys, thanks for having me again. Good win from Delhi overnight, no doubt about it. They needed that. Yeah, look, I think, it's personal for me. I want to see the Aussie players playing in as many games as possible. I want to see them making runs, taking wickets, and I want us to have our best preparation leading into the World Cup. We love World Cup campaigns. We've been so successful over a long period of time, and I really hope this T20 one is no different. It's just around the corner. But at the moment, I think we've got a few injury concerns. I think our captain, Mitch Marsh, tearing or straining that hamstring again is of concern. He's back in Australia now trying to get that fixed and get it to heal as quickly as possible. But I think the IPL would have been really good cricket for him leading into the World Cup, certainly as captain. Davey Warner, this thumb injury that I don't think is too bad. I think he might miss one or two games. Obviously missed last night, but he might miss one more game. But, Starkey's getting there. He's getting better. So hopefully the more he plays, just bowling, getting some wickets, get that confidence up is so important. To me, really, Travis Head, Pat Cummins and Fraser-McGurk, those three have been the story. They've been the positives for Australia. Now the question mark on Fraser-McGurk, does he get picked in that World Cup campaign? Because if he continues his form, he's going to go there full of confidence, and what a young, talented player he is. So my only concern is, are the Aussie boys all playing enough T20 cricket leading into the World Cup? And are we going to go there full of confidence? Because if we can get there, I've got no doubt we've got a good enough team to win another World Cup campaign.
Well, I tell you what, Pup, you raise an interesting question. The combination of Jake Fraser-McGurk perhaps opening with Travis Head, Ferg, that is mouth-watering.
Oh, I'm drooling thinking about it. It is honestly. Imagine those two for the next 5-6 years going at it at the top of the order, right hand, left hand, pummeling attacks around the world. I can see it happening. Whether he gets a crack in front of Davey, I'm not so sure. But what I would say is, if he continues his form, he'll be on that plane. And I'd be surprised if, you look at our list, we're not the youngest squad getting around anymore. So we've got to be ready to go. We've got to have guys ready to jump into a spot. Mitch Marsh being a bit of an iffy one with his hamstring. Jake Fraser-McGurk would be a nice replacement at 3. So I reckon he's close to getting an opportunity to nail down a spot.
What do you think, Pup?
I think Fraser-McGurk's best spot is opening the batting. I think batting in the first 6 overs, only 2 fielders out, that's his greatest strength. He's a boundary hitter. He can maximise that power play. He's a young player and he will get better, there's no doubt about it. But if I'm bowling against Fraser at the moment, I'm probably bowling spin and I'm probably bowling that outside off-stump line because he's leg side dominant with his power play. So once you got 5 fielders out, you can protect that a little bit more. So I think if he plays, he's got to open the batting. So he's probably fighting with David Warner and Travis Head for a spot there. But, someone like Davey particularly, he can bat 3, 4, 5. He's done that before for Australia and in the IPL. So he's got that option. The other one he's probably fighting against Fraser is Steve Smith. There's talk about, will Smithy be picked in the 15 as that player that could open? He's a good player of spin, could come in the middle of the order. So a good man to have in that World Cup squad. So he's fighting with a couple of very senior players to get his opportunity. But I tell you what, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, I don't know how you leave him out. It's just It's just, I think if you're picking Fraser, he's opening the batting. He's playing. Because he's probably not a middle order player just yet. I think he's very much an opening batsman, maybe a number 3. And the wickets you're going to play on as well in the Caribbean, Australia's going to play on slow pitches. So, again, I think he's much better suited in that first 6 overs. So, selectors have got a job on their hands. They need Davey back playing. Smitty's not playing at the moment, so that's probably not helping him. And if Fraser keeps scoring runs in his World Cup campaign, he's going to be hard to leave. In this IPL campaign, he's going to be hard to leave out of the World Cup squad.
He can ruin a game within the space of 2 or 3 overs. He had 20 inside the first 2 overs himself last night and just ruined the game and won it for Delhi. So I think that's the threat that he brings to the table.
From all out for 89 one night in the IPL to a record total of the Sunrisers, 3 for 287. Travis Head, a name that we've already brought up a few times on this episode, was sensational with the fastest ever ton for the Sunrisers, the 4th fastest IPL ton on record. You were there to watch it all unfold. Pup, what did you make of Travis Head and what did you enjoy most about the way he went about it?
Yeah, well, 2 things. I think that wicket was out of control, probably too flat. You should have put a bowling machine down to bowl because I felt for every single bowler. Pat Cummins' performance was unbelievable on that wicket. To be able to take wickets and not go for that many runs was freakish of Pat Cummins for starters. Travis said phenomenal though, so take nothing away from him. I think we've seen it in all formats. From Trav over the past probably 12 to 24 months. He's playing it with that really aggressive approach, that fearless attitude. And I think he blocked the first ball. Apart from that, he tried to hit every ball for 4 or 6 and he didn't miss time many at all. It was just amazing batting. So again, that Trav's a real positive for us going into this World Cup campaign. His attitude at the start, maximised the first 6 overs, look to just take opposition bowlers on. I think he's going to play a significant role in us having success at the World Cup. And he's a great fella, Trav, as well. So I think, you see around the world, everyone loves seeing him do well because he's worked extremely hard to get his opportunity and now he's grabbing it in all 3 formats for Australia.
I think it was 22 sixes in the innings overall, which is just remarkable. We know with the impact sub in the IPL, it's a little bit of a different situation with these totals, but Pup, you alluded to it a little bit there. Do you think that we could get a 300 total in T20? And if so, is that good or bad for the game?
Yeah, well, we're not far away now. So, yes, I think a team will make 300. It's probably not my go. I think it's too favourable to the batters. Like, I love seeing good pitches where if you bat well, you make runs. And over here, you got lightning fast outfields as well. Bangalore it's like the whole ground is a square. Like, if you get it past that man inside the circle, it's 4 every day of the week. Calcutta, that ground's exactly the same. So, and they're small boundaries. They're kiddie boundaries, 55 metres, 60 metres one side. These days, these blokes hit them 80 metres, mistiming them. So I think there is such thing as too many runs. And I want young boys and girls to want to bowl as well. We can't have everyone growing up just wanting to be a batter. Someone's got to bowl. Yeah. So yeah, I think there's got to be somewhere in between. I also don't want to see teams bowled out for 80 like we did last night.
We've had both.
So we've seen both ends.
I know somewhere in the middle would be nice. I think we know T20 is definitely about that entertainment factor. So you want 4s, you want 6s, but I also want wickets. So I think in general we've got it right. It's just the occasional game where you're making 270, 280. Thank God I was a batter, put it that way.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier somebody like a Mitch Starc, 3 for 28 one game and then none for 50 the next one. It is tough going for those star bowlers. But speaking of sixes, Pup, a bloke the same age as you by the name of MS Dhoni, not sure if you've heard of him, absolutely sensational at this IPL. 4 innings yet to be dismissed. And the other day, 20 runs off 4 balls against the Mumbai Indians. Poor old Hardik Pandya, it was not his day with the ball or as a captain. But are you just in awe of what MSD is able to produce at the age that he is? And could he keep going for another IPL?
Same age as me. What do you mean? 25? Young and fresh. Look, I don't seem to be surprised ever with MS Dhoni. You look at him; he's as fit and as healthy as I've ever seen him. He's so calm under pressure. He had a long break away from the game. He's obviously not playing any other cricket apart from IPL, but he's always been all class. This IPL is no different. So I can't say I'm surprised, but it was phenomenal. He walked out there that last over against Hardik Pandya and just the first ball straight out of the middle of the bat. So I think MS is probably the best finisher I've ever seen. He's done it over such a long period of time. He reads the game so well. He puts bowlers under pressure. But then most importantly, it's okay to do all those things, but you've got to be able to execute. And he has done it for 20 years. He hits the ball as hard as any batsman still in the current game. So while he's playing like this, the crowd support is phenomenal. He's the number one most liked or most loved player over in this IPL. You go and play at Delhi or play in Bangalore, there's more MS Dhoni jerseys than anywhere else in that grandstand, in that crowd. There's more yellow Chennai jerseys than anywhere at any home ground. It's phenomenal, the support and love that the people have for MS Dhoni over here, and he has not disappointed.
I've experienced it live, you're right. There's nothing like it in world sport. 43 years of age in July, or 26 years of age, as Pup would have
That's
it.
right.
He is a marvel.
Thank you.
He really is, and has been for such a long time. I played in his hometown one day, and there was 8 deep for about 1 kilometre, I reckon, on the side of the roads trying to get back to our hotel. But he just keeps putting himself in the position to win games of cricket for his teams, whether it was India or CSK. He's there when the whips are cracking, and that's what everyone loves about him. He's there. He might not always get them over the line, but his strike rate in getting them over the line from a losing position is incredible.
One of my favourite things in the IPL was with Shivam Dubey in those last couple of overs was on strike, hit a 6, and the Chennai Super Kings fans booed him because they wanted to see MS Dhoni there instead. Gotta love those Indian fans. Michael Clarke, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Don't go anywhere because Glenn Maxwell is coming up after this short break. Welcome back to Around the Wicket. Time to head back to India now because Glenn Maxwell is with us once more. Maxie, thanks so much for your company. Not ideal circumstances, I know this. Can you talk us through the past week since you last joined us on the show to where you came to the decision where you went to the skipper, Faf du Plessis, and said, I think it's time to leave me out of the last match against the Sunrisers?
Yeah, it's been less than ideal the last little bit, but I suppose the decision sort of came. I think even during the game leading up to it, I was pretty low on confidence. Had a good couple of net sessions as we talked about, and just went out to the ground and felt really tentative. Wasn't able to really commit to my game plans, and just felt like if I had kept, I suppose, playing and playing in that role, I don't think the results would have changed too much. So I just went to Faf and said, look, I think we need to try someone else in my position, and had the same conversation with Andy Flower, the coach. And to me, it was a bit of a no-brainer. And I think it sort of saves a tough conversation that they might have to have about dropping me, and almost sort of try to get ahead of it and sort of say, it's okay, you can make this decision. And yeah, I felt really at peace with it. Obviously frustrated that I wasn't able to get the results that I would have liked, but comfortable in the fact that I feel like I've made the right decision for the team, and it's certainly not like I'm taking an extended break away from the game. I just think it's a better opportunity for someone else to, I suppose, have a crack at that position. And I know I'm an important part of this side, but at the moment I'm not playing well enough to, I suppose, warrant a spot.
Maxie, so many of us cricket lovers and players at all levels have been through tough periods, and it's really tough. It can get really dark when you're not performing as well as you'd like. You can go through periods of anger, frustration, anguish, feeling really, really flat. Talk us through, after that last innings when you were out for naught against Mumbai, that walk off the ground, what was the overarching feeling as you walked off the ground?
Yeah, I think it was all of those emotions that you talked about, but I think I think just frustration inability to perform your job. I think it's been something that it feels like it's been really automatic for me over a little period of time. And it's been a while since I've sort of been through something like this where it's been really difficult to go out there and sort of stay in the moment, stay present and execute your skills when called upon. And feels like everything's happening really naturally at training. I'm able to execute, and it just feels like when I get into the ground, there's too many thoughts going through my head. I'm not able to sort of think about that first instinct and go with it. Just sort of almost freezing up in a way, and that's almost like a mental block that is sometimes hard to get past. And it probably wasn't there in the first 3 or 4 games. I felt really calm, really clear, and the shots that I was executing were my first instinct. I just thought they weren't coming off, and then probably the last couple of games there has been that little bit of block. So I think it's just a good time to give myself a bit of a mental refresh and cut myself a bit of slack, at least have a bit of fun off the field, go do some stuff I really enjoy, like playing golf, spending some time with the family, spending some time with teammates, trying to, I suppose, do some coaching stuff off the field around training, and probably spend a less time putting so much pressure on myself around training and my own performance, and sort of, I suppose, invest in some time in some other guys and get some enjoyment out of that.
The courage to be kind to yourself, it's an important thing. Maxie, you alluded to a little bit earlier, but can you give us some clarification over this IPL, how long you want to spend out, whether you plan to stay in India throughout, because there's been different reports coming out.
Well, it's sort of a bit of a force break because I've actually got a little bit of a hip strain. So I've got a few more days off and doing recovery with that sort of stuff as well. So I've got a little period here where I'm still training, still trying to get myself right. And if there is a spot that comes available, I'll obviously put my hand up and take it. But as I said, at the moment, there's 4 overseas slots, and those guys need a chance to, I suppose, take their opportunity. And we made 260 odd in the last game, so there's probably not many batting slots there. So I might just have to wait my turn, and if an opportunity does come up again during this IPL, hopefully I'm ready to take it. But yeah, at the moment, it's not one of those things where I've set a date that I'll be out for 3 games and then I'll come back whenever I'm ready. That's not how it works. It's I haven't been at a level that's good enough to, I suppose, warrant a spot in the side this year, and someone else is going to try and take the opportunity. As I said, I'm always available for a selection. I just didn't think last game was a good game to, I suppose, I thought it was a good time for me to give someone else a turn last game and almost take the decision away from the coach and captain's hands.
Maxie, what I'm hearing there is that we might just see you a bit later in the tournament. So I hope that's the case and there's plenty of runs for you there. Just looking at the World Cup coming ahead, how does the preparation look from here? Say you play a few games at the end of this tournament. From there, how does the preparation look? And at this stage of your career, is it something, these tough patches, is it something that you're right up for the fight for to really battle your way into the next World Cup and help us win a World Cup?
Well, it's probably just a good time to get my body right. And I think we've probably spoken about this a few times. Wrong side of 30 is not an easy place to be sometimes. So I think with the way that the start of the tournament's gone, and now that I've got this little bit of time not on the playing field, I'm able to actually spend a bit of time and invest in my body to try and get it 100% by the time the World Cup comes around. And as I said, if I do get another opportunity, hopefully I can make that count in the back end of this IPL. But I think the bigger picture being that World Cup, I can hopefully put in some good time off the field in my gym work, physio stuff, and get myself really like 100% right. So I could be fielding in the hot spots all over the place. I can be throwing my body around. I can be bowling 4 overs every game for us, and really be someone that hopefully physically that we can rely on all the way through.
Just quickly on the World Cup, Maxie, would you like to see Jake Fraser-McGurk get a crack in the Aussie 11?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, look, I'd love to see him there because I feel like I've invested a bit of time in him. We're close mates. He's such a good talent. He's such an exciting player to watch. But also the Australian team is an incredibly hard side to get into, and there's guys that have put in a lot of work over the last few years and got themselves to a position where they're in that squad. And Roosters had a really good 12 months. He's shown, I suppose, a lot of courage, changing state and making that big transition over to South Australia and kicking some goals there. So he's had a breakout BBL season. He has an amazing start in the T20, the IPL as well. But yeah, he's still got a bit of work to do. He's still very wet behind the ears, but yeah, I think at some stage he's gonna take international cricket by storm.
I just love the fact that you have a massive smile on your face when you talk about him. He's that kind of player. Maxie, don't go anywhere because you've got a big announcement coming up after this short break. We'll be back shortly. Don't go anywhere. Glenn Maxwell is with us. And Maxie, you've got a big announcement for us on Around the Wicket.
Yeah, very excited to announce that I've signed for the Washington Freedom during this MLC tournament this year. It's a tournament that I watched from afar last year and was extremely excited about hopefully playing this tournament one day. And luckily enough, the timings have aligned this year. I've been speaking to Ricky Ponting and a few of the players a fair bit over the last little period, and certainly extremely excited to get stuck in. Got a few of my Aussie teammates as well involved. I'm looking forward to playing with, and one of my RCB teammates, Lockie Ferguson, is also a part of the Freedom as well. So we've got some familiarity there, and just looking forward to, I suppose, getting involved in a tournament which I think is going to grow hugely over the next few years. And the American market's a little bit untapped, and hopefully see some of the talent coming through there, and looking forward to getting stuck in.
As you mentioned, Ricky Ponting as coach, Travis Head and Steve Smith as teammates. This is a world-class outfit.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. They've done really well, I suppose, in promoting this league around the world. And I think the excitement, with the T20 World Cup this year, I think to have that tournament straight after, I think it will be an amazing experience to sort of see how the Americans take to cricket and hopefully get really behind it. And there's some amazing names a part of this tournament, and it feels like a real honour to be a part of it.
Maxie, no doubt you signing certainly gives it more legitimacy going forward in the landscape of international cricket and franchise cricket. What excites you most about this opportunity with Washington?
Yeah, they've been extremely professional the whole way through. I think when I got the proposal through from them about what to expect, I sort of don't really know what the MLC looks like too much, but they sort of gave me a pretty detailed outline of what it looks like this year. And the fact that there was, I suppose, a bit of help for my wife and young fella was something that I was obviously looking forward to spending a bit of time in America with them. And I think having Travis and Steve there and Ricky, three guys who I'm extremely familiar with, I think that sort of probably tipped me over the edge. And you'd sort of and ah about that time of the year, about where you're going to be and whether you take the time off, whether to play 100 or what you might do. And I think just having those couple of Aussies there, and I think the opportunity to be a part of something really big in the MLC and grow something is something that's really exciting as well.
Glenn Maxwell, congratulations on your signing with Washington. Thank you so much for joining us on Around the Wicket. It's been fantastic to have you on board and we really appreciate it. All the best for the rest of the IPO and, of course, the important World Cup coming up. Don't go anywhere. This is Around the Wicket and the short stuff is up next. David Warner, like you've never seen him before.
See you at the Oscars. Hey Roger, is it RRR or
David Warner and drama. It goes hand in hand.
What was that? Nez, I don't know what that was. I'll tell you what, though, he's been putting this stuff up on Instagram for a long time, so it's not uncommon. It's not something that shocks me.
This is the short stuff. Is Davey made for that role?
I actually think he is. He's been throwing himself into the Bollywood scene neck deep for years. I think he's made for it.
I tell you what, when he's in a real-life Bollywood movie, he can get back to me. Should the Kookaburra ball be used full-time in county cricket in the UK? Rob Key says yes.
Oh, look, if you're an English fan, you don't want this to happen. If you're an Australian, absolutely, let's go for it. Let's get it in there as often as possible because I think it takes a huge strength of England's bowlers away. The moving ball, the Duke, it's got a much firmer, higher seam, so it carves through the atmosphere and seams off the wicket a lot more than the Kookaburra, which tends to soften a little bit more, the reports are coming out of England early season. Let's get it happening over there, Nez.
Mixed reports from the UK. Rashid Khan, he's put out there that he might miss out on the Big Bash League. Once again, Afghanistan not playing against Australia. Cricket Australia made that call. Second time that it's been postponed. What do you think about Rashid Khan's call and how big a loss would it be to the Big Bash?
It'd be enormous. I mean, it'd be a significant loss to not just the strikers, but the competition. He brings so much excitement and, you know, whether it's bat, ball or in the field, he's getting the crowd into the game. So it'd be a massive loss.
Different things going on in the IPL. And look, I am all for fun, creativity. But Justin Langer-led LSG have introduced this. Jonty Rhodes wants this unicorn, this fluffy toy, to be introduced for the best fielder. Have we gone too far with the fun?
Oh, I'm not sure about this unicorn thing. What's happening? We need to find a bit of magic, do we? I think that's what the quote was, wasn't it? I think you can do it without a magic unicorn.
JL, surely he's not behind this.
I don't know. Surely not. Hopefully not.
Mumbai Indians, Hardik Pandya, he's missing out on a bit of form. He's finding it tough. Do they need to change the captaincy?
Oh, look, I think they're too deep into this now. I think that you had to make a better decision earlier on this. I think it's a tricky one. The senior players have to get around Hardik.
We've got a week off next week for Anzac Day. We'll see you in a fortnight. Thanks for joining us.